Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I've got a very personal update for you called YouTuber problems. I can't lie to you, I've been having some problems. I've been pretty stressed out and frustrated both with YouTube in general and with my personal life because the two do tie together very closely because YouTube is a very big part of what I do with my life. And I've been having some problems and I wanted to sit down and talk to you guys about that today. The gameplay that you're watching right now is what I call honest gameplay. I just loaded up some silly classes using perks I don't normally use, and some of the ones I always use like Focus I didn't have right here. Hopped on and I recorded the very first two matches I got, so you're going to see exactly how I play normally. This isn't my best match, this isn't my edited in-depth, this is just how I play Call of Duty. I just so happened to get randomly matched with Mark of J, which was kind of fun, but he was like in a party chat, so he didn't acknowledge me or anything. I have a lot to talk about. If you didn't notice, it's a long video. It's a very personal video. Unlike my other ones, I'm probably going to curse a good bit in some very appropriate places, and my phone is buzzing. I'm going to chunk that away. Going to be a little bit more off the cuff than usual. Already screwing my words up a little bit, and I'm going to have a lot of complaints because this is something that's frustrating me. This is YouTuber problems, and before I jump into the complaints, I wanted to say that my life is pretty good. This isn't a video where I whine about how miserable I have it or about how terrible it is that my job is to play video games, more or less. I'm doing good, but like anything good, there is sweet with the sour, there is good with the bad. Even if you had the most amazing job in the world and the most amazing perfect of everything that you could possibly imagine, there would still be something wrong with it, some things that frustrate you, and those are some things that I wanted to talk about today to kind of get off my chest. It's somewhat therapeutic to vocalize your problems, and I feel like being honest with you guys because some of you have noticed that I sounded frustrated in my videos, and that's absolutely true. So let's start off with problem number one. Problem number one is with sponsors. It's not only with sponsors I'm having problems with some fans and stalkers and stuff as well, but sponsors have been frustrating lately, not necessarily the ones I'm currently working with. I'm working with Elgato and Scuff and Gamma and Brass Monkey apps. I work with people that I like, and I totally quit working with other companies because they're so scummy is the word that I would use. There are so many companies out there that view all of you as just walking dollar signs. Like you just open your mouth and go bleh and like throw up your wallet and they just take your money and run away. Companies that don't give a flip about their product and only want sales. And when I talk to them, you don't know that up front. They just reach out to you and it's like, hey, would you like to do a video on this? We'll give you this if you'll do a review. You know, we'll pay you $5,000 if you say blah blah blah, and blah 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 is good. And I'm like, well, let me take a look at it, let me see what's going on here. Sometimes it lines up with your interests. Sometimes there's a really awesome company that has something really cool that you can share with people, and they just haven't got their word out there yet, and that's a good thing. You know, sharing something that you enjoy with other people, and you get paid for it. That's great. And then there's some companies that are just pushing crap, just total garbage. And it'll go, I'm going to use an example. Well, there are other things. They want a lot of pre-rolls and intrusive advertisements or dishonest reviews, but I'm going to use two examples. They're older examples. I'm not going to talk about current companies that reached out to me because that's considered in poor taste here on YouTube. I don't want to dump on recent contacts, but I'll talk about some stuff that happened a year or two ago that are near one-to-one examples of what I'm getting a lot of today. There was a company that reached out to me and they wanted to promote games on the PlayStation 3 marketplace. Not marketplace, they had like a little store where you could buy the arcade games and the indie games, and the big one they wanted to push was DuckTales, which I was initially pretty interested in because I liked DuckTales as a kid. I could probably sing you the whole song right now, like, woohoo, gonna solve a mystery, gonna rewrite history, DuckTales. I'm terrible at singing, I know, but I thought it was kind of cool, and I was like, alright, well, what's the deal with the DuckTales promotion on PlayStation? And the guy was talking to me like, man, you just got to get people to buy this game. And I'm like, how about I just play the game and then they can buy it if they want it. And they're like, no. This is a commission-based deal. We're going to pay you based on sales. You want to get paid now? You don't even have to wait for this. You get cash fast. And the suit kept saying cash fast for DuckTales. And I was like, no, I really don't want to push DuckTales. Like, I'll play DuckTales for you, but I'm not going to push people to do that. And it's like, and we went back and forth. And eventually I just said, no, thank you. I can tell you really just don't care and want to get your check. And hit me up a day later and it's like, dude, you should just buy a PlayStation. I was like, man, I have not posted any PlayStation content on my channel ever. Not that I hate PlayStation, quite the opposite. I'm cheap. I only have one. And don't you think that'd be a little bit weird? Anybody with two brain cells to rub together would notice, and they'd be like, no, dude, people are stupid. They'll never know. And that was really frustrating. Another one that you get is 100% bullshit reviews. Another old problem I had is Roxio reached out to me to review their HD capture card. And it didn't really have much instructions. It was a paid review. I was going to get a check for it. I was like, all right, well, this is sweet. I get to review something, get paid for it. Nice. They even get little, adverts on the videos or whatever. And I did my review, and the product, my honest opinion of it is that it's not really that great. It's a good cheap alternative. If you get HD gameplay, it's really inexpensive and it has an editing suite. I would call it like baby's first capture card, but what I got had some serious problems. Like, it would not work with Sony Vegas. It was specifically designed where you can't edit with anything except for the Roxio software, and anything else would cause you errors. And the live streaming service basically didn't work. So I had these things in my review, and they kept like, nah, you need to edit the review. Nah, you need to do it again, do it again, do it again. And I kept doing it because I really needed the money at that particular period of time. And it got more and more dishonest. And at the last time I looked at it, and it was just 100% bullshit. Like, it was even one thing I said, the LED light on the front was a little bit bright, like it shined in my face while I was gaming, so I put a little piece of tape over it. And I got a message specifically back about that, about how that's too negative and it hurts our brand and blah, blah, blah. And at that point, it was like, you know what? Fuck this. I don't give a fuck about this. I don't give a fuck about your capture card. You can keep your money. I just don't care. And again, these are older examples, but I've been getting a lot of that lately from a lot of pushy companies and people. And again, not the main ones you see on this channel, because I don't work with scumbags, but when they reach out to you, when you don't know, when you first start talking to people you don't know. So that's been really frustrating. And it's been frustrating that I try to have a good, let's say, like, relationship with subscribers. I like to talk to you one-to-one, like a person, like a man, and they view you as walking like money bags. I don't really like that. But speaking of talking to you guys and having a relationship per se, as much as you can from one in thousands and on the internet, holy fucking shit, you have to stop with the suicide messages. Or please, if you're planning to kill yourself, if you're having difficulties in your life, I'm not a priest, I am not a religious minister or anything in any affiliation, I am not a counselor, I am not a therapist. I like helping people, I really do, I like giving good advice, but I cannot handle all of the suicide messages. I know I did a very personal topic on suicide, and I encourage you to reach out to me, but the reaching out has got a little bit extreme, because each legitimate suicide message that isn't a troll message, and I'm pretty good at telling the two apart, is upsetting, it's disturbing. I watched the movie The Conjuring recently, where they used the example like, oh, the psychic, she sees these things and she can help people, but it takes a little piece of her away every time. That's actually a pretty good example. Like, when I help somebody on here that's legitimately having problems, it's stressful for me to read all their stuff and try and help, knowing that what I write back might encourage them to kill themselves or save a life or whatever. And I don't mind doing that, but when I open my box and there's like 40 of them, I can't do 40 in a day. I can't handle 50 in a day. A dozen of them is stressful. 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, I'm used to that. Like, but when they come in mass, I don't know what it is. Like, it's like everybody got to dig together on one day of the week, or it's like, let's send them all now. That's really, really stressful for me, and I just can only deal with so much of that. So if you're having thoughts of suicide, if you're depressed, if you're having problems in your life, I would like to help you, but please, I should not be your first line of help. The main reason I even go through and answer all of these messages is I assume that if they're contacting a completely random stranger on the internet and trusting them with all this private information, that whatever sort of trust network or structure that they have in their regular life is completely broken and screwed up, because that should not be the case. They should be going to friends, to family, to religious officials, to school officials, to public health, to a doctor, to a psychologist, instead of reaching out to random me on the internet. And the same can go for those of you suffering from gender identity issues, that need advice on girls, that need help, that are a stalker or need help from a stalker. It's perhaps the most frustrating to talk to somebody that is stalking, versus somebody being stalked. It's easy to avoid being stalked. It's more difficult to convince somebody that they are actually the stalker. And abusive parents are particularly stressful. I suffered a little bit of that in my childhood, so it's kind of tough to read about kids that have it worse than me. And there's not really like great advice I can give. It's like, okay, so your parents are beating you. And there's this standard, you talk to the school counselor, you call CPS, you call the police, and in a good, perfectly functioning society, that'll work, but in the really real world, it's not like the police are going to come in like superheroes and take the kids away to Never Never Land. They're going to come in and poke around, and if nothing's really bad, they're going to leave, and then the parents are going to be pissed, and they're going to beat the crap out of their kids. So I'm in a pretty pickle on how to give advice on these situations, and it's pretty stressful. And again, I appreciate and I like that you guys like me enough to reach out to me and respect whatever enough it is that I have to say to help you. That's touching. But at the same time, there can be too much touching. It's come in mass too much, and I think I might be taking it a little bit more personally than I should. Perhaps I should be more impartial with my advice, or more impersonal, or be concerned less, because I know that not all of the messages are real. I've sent messages to people, and they'll reply saying, haha, and no, I never thought you would answer that. I just made up some troll nonsense. I thought you'd find it funny. And my answer is, well, you know, what sounds like a troll problem to one person cannot be a troll problem to somebody else, and you don't know, because I've also made the mistake of having something that I thought was a troll problem, and I just told the guy off, don't waste my time with your crap, and it was actually legit, and the fellow decided to kill himself. Not so great. Not a great feeling to have. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to do about this problem. I considered recently doing a show similar to Woody's Gamertag's Mail Monday to, you know, give advice, help people with problems, answer questions, etc., etc. But in retrospect, I'm not sure if I want to do that, because that just means I'm going to have more and more and more of these piling in my inbox. I'm going to have to choose to ignore them or help or what, and I don't know if I can personally take that kind of stress. Again, my flaw is that I think I care too much, and I know the probability of my advice helping, so I'm going to have to take a step back and be less personal with those. Another problem that I'm having YouTube related is that there has been a weird kind of shift on In-Depth. In-Depth is the #1 series on this channel. That's kind of what this channel is built on. That's the core, the bedrock of the channel. And there's been a big shift in how it's received and how the feedback comes to me. I read through the comments on every episode, not all of them. I usually go back like a day or 2 days later and just read all the comments for feedback. I don't remember a whole lot of really specific ones, but you get a good sense of audience feedback from those. The comments are generally a little bit more on the negative side because it's the internet, but the shift has been away from support, away from agreement, and away from novelty, and more towards challenge. I'm not sure why, but it used to be people would just kind of take my word for things, which was a great feeling. Unfortunately, sometimes I was wrong, which was a little bit bad. But now it has been like, haha, you have made a minor error. How should we even trust you anymore? Or something that you said was garbage, I think is great. Or you didn't test this stringently enough. Or you should try this because your setup is garbage. Or you're just an average player. Why shouldn't I take advice from pros? And you could do this a million different ways, but the general gist of the feedback is shifting away from trust and away from interest and toward, haha, you're wrong. Haha, you're wrong. Like there's this big thing to proving me wrong, and I guess that's kind of myself, because I've tried to set up a persona of myself as being right most of the time, as even in my Twitter bio, Call of Duty Wizard. So it's like when I'm wrong, everybody's like, ooh, get told. Kind of frustrating. What's frustrating for me is that doesn't bode well for the future of the series. I do plan to do it, but that's one of the things that happened. We're moving down toward near the end of the commentary here. I've got 2 other problems that I wanted to talk about to give you perspective on where I'm coming from. This one was one that nearly pushed me over the edge the other day. I came very nearly to cursing and screaming, but it's assholes on Xbox Live. And I don't know what the deal is. Most of it's actually people that know me, like people that know the YouTube fans, subscribers, you guys. Some of you, or people just generally in the CoD community, universe, and the entertainment area. They like to really screw with me in games. Now that's not everybody. Definitely not. I would say the majority of people are nice. Hey Drifter, it's nice to meet you. Like your videos, that's cool. Because I'm in the chat. I don't actually do party chat. I just like being in game and talking to people. I talk to random people. It's totally fun for me. But there is a minority of people, and for some reason on Xbox One it seems to be a growing minority, that like to trash talk me. Like as soon as I get in the game, the team will turn on me and like try to kill me as hard as I can. Like, put that on YouTube. It's like, you're just a bitch. My KD ratio is higher than you. I should have your job. I should play games all day, faggot. You suck. You have 1.25 KD. Suck my nuts. I mute them usually, but the increase is there. And what's frustrating is that they know me. Got a lot of stalkers. A lot of people like to follow me from game to game to game to game. You appear offline, they still show up. It's really, I had some problems with that in the live streaming, but we sorted that out. And that really is is pretty stressful. It just every time you join a new game, the same guy is there up in your ass the whole time. Another thing that can happen is when you have an entire team hunting you. Now this is what's going to sound weird. I've explained this before, and invariably there's going to be in the comments somebody that says I'm a bitch for complaining about other people playing hard, and that, you know, oh, you know, people aren't just going to roll over and die for you. But when somebody on the other team recognizes you and they have some friends there that tell your friends, like, check it out, there's this YouTuber in the game, he's so-and-so and so-and-so, let's fuck his shit up. And what happens is, instead of, maybe not the whole team, but like half the team, instead of playing the objective, they're just playing a game called Hunt Down and Kill Drifter. Which means that if I'm playing against normal people and I'm playing normally, like doing normal strategies, what I think is normal, there's a team of people like, oh, he sniped me at back alley, everybody move back alley. It's like 3 or 4 motherfuckers coming down the back alley trying to mess me up or throwing C4s and shields at me, and you know, I look up and there's like 5 flashbangs coming my way. As soon as I spawn, somebody spots me like he's running across the blah blah blah, and you get the whole team coming for you. It's not playing Call of Duty. It's not playing the objective. It's not playing Team Slayer. It's playing Team Troll the shit out of Drifter. And I'm a pretty good gamer, and I usually fight around it. You see it in depth sometimes, but it hits a point where it becomes really, really frustrating. And I'm going to use the example in the Lynx gameplay in the very first game that I got. It's actually in the game if you see it a little bit. I might have edited around it where I did good. I joined a lobby, and just before the game started, somebody recognized me, and they said hello, and they were friendly. And I was like, well, hey guys, that's nice. And I looked up, it's a clan of 5, so it's 5 out of 6 people. They're like the Zulu clan or something. And I said hello, introduced myself. It was all friendly and jolly. And as soon as the game started, they started playing like really, really hard. Now this is, playing hard is normal. I'm used to that. When people play against me, they want to show me that they can play good, and I'm totally cool with that. I even get a little bit used to the hunting thing to a degree. Most normal people, when they see me using a goofy gun, pistols only, Lynx, something with an ACOG, they're like, okay, this guy's getting some weird attachment for in-depth, for an example. I don't have to fool with it. Some people is like, oh man, Drifter's using akimbo pistols. Let's fuck him up with rocket launchers. Let's go as hard as we can with our MLG thermal classes, and there's just nothing I can do about that. It's really frustrating. So what happened is they ended up hunting me. There was probably about 5 people on the team. About 3 or 4 were hunting. One guy wasn't doing anything. One of them decided he wanted to troll and throw C4s at me from behind the shield. That recently got patched, so that it's not too bad. But it was really, really bad a while ago. It's chunking C4s at me from behind the shield like mad. Little smidge of trash talk here and there when I'd kill him. They're always calling me out. At the end of the game, of course, I lose. I did terrible, too. End of the game, I say good game, and the guy's like, why don't you put that on YouTube? And I'm like, well, that wouldn't be very fun. That'd just be you throwing C4s at me. He said something else smart, and it made me mad enough to stay in for the next game because I wanted to see if I could do better. And then I played really, really hard the next game, even with, you know, the better part of their clan hunting me, and I almost went positive, did pretty good. And at the end of the game, I talked to the same guys, like, you know, man, you're not so bad after all. Do you want to party up with us? And I was like, no, I don't want to party up with you. And then immediately, everybody else that was playing is like, well, why not? What do we do? I haven't done anything to you. You don't need to talk to me like that. I'm like, you just fucking talk trash to me and threw C4s at me, and I'm the asshole because I don't want to get in a party with you? Get the fuck out of here. I just left. So this is going to be the perfect trifecta. About three games later, somebody joins my game and introduces themselves to me, and I start talking to him. I'm not paying attention to who's talking. I'm trying to snipe, trying to get decent gameplay. And he started talking, and I told him I was having kind of a tough morning, and I was having some problems. And I described the game that I just had about the guy with the C4s and the trash talk and the hunting me. And the guy's like, you know, it sounds pretty bad. I don't think I'd like that either, blah, blah, blah. And I look up, and it's the same fucking guy. Not the one that was trash talking, but probably like the leader of the group. It was like 2 of the other Zulu guys had joined the game, and they were talking to me. It's like the same fucking people that I was just complaining about stalked me to the next game, and they were acting like they were curious about what was so frustrating, and I just got mad and left. Can't deal with that shit. I'm done. That's why the in-depth gameplay wasn't that super amazing. I just didn't care anymore. I just wanted to, like, okay, you know what, I've got enough clips. I can make something I can upload and it can be done, blah, blah, blah. Nearing the end of the episode, and I'm getting to my last little bit of meanest complaint, my last little bit of of hatred here, of frustration. And that's that I've had too many, I will say, friends in quotes, or acquaintances, or people that I know, or people that I've helped, because I know a lot of people that have been asking me for too much stuff. They've just been asking for me to, a lot of different things, small things, but it usually boils down to helping their channel in some way or the other. And by too many, I mean somewhere between 15 and 20 or 30 maybe at the high end of things. Not every day, but just a lot of days. Would you like to check out this video? Would you retweet this for me? Would you do something for charity? Do you want to play on my Minecraft server? Dude, I'm starting this new business. Dude, I'm starting a community channel. Dude, can I do a dual com with you? Hey bro, you remember that time a year ago we were in a video together? Well, now I have a fundraiser for you to promote. and I just can't. I just cannot help like everybody in the world. And I'm turning into a kind of a grumpy Gus about it, if you haven't noticed, because normally I just be like, no, I can't do it, no, I don't want to do it. Or some, you know, sometimes I would help. Sometimes just like, it doesn't matter. But when you get like a whole lot of requests in one day, there's only so much, we'll say, human capital that I have here on YouTube. So only so many people that I can help. And it eventually, like, I turn on my Skype and I see the messages light up, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to help anybody today. If I could dislike your video and like steal views, I would. It's just getting annoying, and it's a mean and hateful thing to say, because all of these people that I know, they're nice people, they're good people, they're well-meaning people, they like me, and they only want what's best for themselves, and they don't, even the things they ask of me really aren't even that big. It's not even like that big of a deal for me to do that. But the problem is the perspective that they don't have and what they can't see is that the 12 other people with the exact same request, and at best I can do one or two, and I have to say no to everybody else. And I'm getting pretty sour about that. I don't know what I'm going to do about it. I think I'm just going to have to say no more often. I've really rambled a lot in this commentary. I guess I've given you a pretty good introspective on the dark side, the evil side of YouTube or whatever. But in perspective, here at the end, I would like to remind you that life is still good for me. I'm still doing well. I have problems, I have frustrations, but things are still going really well. My channel is still doing well. It's growing, it gets views. You guys are interested in a lot of things. It's fulfilling work. I like gaming. Hopefully I will be an old-ass man and I will still be gaming and having fun on the, I don't know, PlayStation, I don't know, like probably 9 or 10 or whatever. It's just 40, I don't really care. I have a happy wife and a happy dog. The dog's doing fine, the wife is doing fine, we're getting along fine. I live in a nice house in a nice city. For the first time in many, many, many years, I really like where I live. I've moved to Plano, Texas. It's a great place. It's convenient. There's lots of neat things to eat that I've never experienced before in my life. So I'm really happy with where I am right now. I have friends, which is a weird thing for me to say. I've been conditioned in my life so against that it's a word that I very rarely even used. If you don't believe me, you can look at like a dual com with MLC Stealth. Like he called me his friend once, and I like flipped out. It scared me so bad. And doing YouTube affords me a comfortable income. I'm not rich by any means. I'm not going to retire to my private island with YouTube money, but I live pretty comfortably, and I don't have to worry about a whole lot. And just keep my channel going. So things are going really well, but I've had a lot of frustrations, and I think the core of this is that I have a weakness of saying no. I don't know how to say no to people enough. I don't know how to just explain that this hurts me. I always just kind of weasel out of it, or just go ahead and do it and suck it up. I'm going to have to say no more often. I'm going to have to help less people, and I'm going to have to do that so that I can help myself, because if I overstretch and get to where I can't help myself, then I really can't help anybody at all. So take care of number one first, and then everybody else second. That sounds a little bit selfish, but if you run yourself into the ground, you're no good for anything. For those of you that listened all the way to the end of this commentary, I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you learned something useful or introspective, and that's kind of how I'm doing. That's my personal update. Drifter out.